After going through over 50 SOPs in the past 1 year, I've realized that most students make these mistakes over and over again. The first mistake a lot of people make is writing an SOP which is a rehash of their resume. Many times I've come across SOPs of both students and professionals where they just explain in detail what they have written in their resume, starting from their education, projects to their work experience, leadership positions, skills, etc. So they talk about the subjects that they have studied, the technical details of the projects that they have worked on, and the day-to-day responsibilities at their company. Now you would think, so what is the problem in doing that? Well, the problem is that an SOP is not a project report or a client report where the focus is on the project that you have done. An SOP is not about the project, it is about you. So while you're talking about the subjects that you've studied, also mention what did you like about those subjects, or what was that one subject which particularly interested you. Or when you're talking about the technical details of the project, along with that mention what were some of the challenges that you faced while working on that project and how did you overcome them. Also, while talking about the responsibilities at the company, share a little bit about what was the gap in terms of knowledge that you realized while working there, which is why you want to do a master's or a PhD program. Sharing all these insights in your SOP will give a much better understanding to the admissions committee about who you are and why you are interested in the program. Now, to receive feedback on your SOPs and LORs, you can join me for my study abroad feedback program. Through this program, I provide 2 rounds of feedback both on your SOP and LORs in terms of content, sentence construction, grammatical errors, and I ensure that your SOP is perfect and ready to submit. If you want to know more, you can check out the link in description. The next mistake we make is writing an SOP which is generic and not tailored to the different universities or the programs that we are applying to. Generally in an SOP, we focus on what we have done in our careers till now and what do we want from the program. But what we don't talk about is what are some of the things which interests us about the university, or how do we plan to contribute to that university, which is why they should offer us an admission. So instead of sending out the same SOP to all the universities, what we need to do is tailor them to make them more university specific. Talk about which courses you would like to take up, or which professors you would like to work with, or which research areas within the university interests you. Not only will this show the admissions committee that you've done your research, but it will also show that yes, you are really interested to study in that university. Same thing applies to the program that you're applying to. Sometimes we apply to a program which is slightly different from the one that we did our undergrad in. So it's important to constantly highlight how did your interest develop in that program and how are you prepared to succeed in that program, instead of just sharing your existing experiences and not linking the two together. Another common mistake that people make is directly writing an SOP without a rough draft. If you think you're going to write an SOP which is perfect right from the beginning, you will never be able to finish your SOP. A lot of my students come to me and tell me that, ma'am, one of the most difficult things about writing an SOP is to start an SOP, because in an expectation to write that perfect SOP from the beginning, they are not even able to start it. So to be able to write an SOP successfully, you need to do it in stages. First, begin with the word vomit stage, where you write down anything and everything that you can think about. That way, you will have all the information at one place on a single piece of paper. After that, you move to the editing stage, where you read what you've written and then you pick out things which should go or which should not go in an SOP, and then you arrange it in paragraphs. Once you do that, you will have a basic structure ready. And now what you can do is start polishing your SOP, where you focus on grammatical errors, include better vocabulary, polish the kind of sentences you have written, and ensure there is proper flow in your SOP. Keep repeating this last step again and again until you have an SOP which is ready for submission. The next mistake, and the most common mistake that people make, is writing their SOP at the last moment. You need to realize that your SOP is as important as any other document you're submitting. So if you write your SOP at the last moment, you will not be able to produce a good quality one, and this will affect your chances of getting that admission offer. So if you're planning to study abroad, make sure you start working on your SOP at least 2 months before the applications. This will give you enough time to brainstorm, draft your SOP peacefully, and then go for multiple rounds of reviews and feedback to make sure your SOP is ready for submission. Now, to receive feedback on your SOPs and LORs, you can join me for my Study Abroad feedback program. Through this program, I provide 2 rounds of feedback both on your SOP and LORs in terms of content, sentence construction, grammatical errors, and I ensure that your SOP is perfect and ready to submit. If you want to know more, you can check out the link in description. And finally, the last mistake I don't want you to commit is getting your SOP written from someone. This is the mistake I made and paid a price for it. When I was in my undergrad applying to study abroad, I felt that my English was not up to the mark, and I had no experience of writing professional or academic essays like an SOP, and so I shouldn't take the risk of writing it. So what I did was I found a person who wrote SOPs for students, paid an exorbitant price, and got my SOP drafted. When I received my SOP, I was very unhappy with it. It looked very fake. It looked impersonal. It did not convey my skills, my experiences in any way. It did not convey my story. It was an SOP that could very well apply to anybody. In the end, I decided to write the SOP on my own, and that got me an admit from some of the top universities in the world. So guys, what I want to tell you here is that even if you feel that your English is not up to the mark or you don't have the best vocabulary, you should still try to write your SOP. Because that way at least your story gets conveyed, because nobody knows you better than you do yourself. And as for your SOP or essay writing skills, I can help you with that. You can join me for my Study Abroad workshop, where I teach you from the beginning how to write an SOP, what are the different sections which go in an SOP, and share a lot of examples with you of students who have gotten into some of the top universities in the world. Once you draft your SOP, I will also share feedback with you so that you can work on that feedback and make an SOP which is perfect and ready to submit. To know more, you can check out the link in the description below. So guys, that's all I wanted to share with you today. Hope this video gave you some insights of the common mistakes people make when writing their SOPs and prevent you from repeating the same ones. If you wish to learn how to write an SOP, LOR or personal statement properly and also receive feedback on them to make it ready for submission, you can join me for my Study Abroad programs. The link is given in the description. And now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you have a fantastic career ahead.